Stand by for action. Anything can happen in the next half hour.
Tony Prince.
That's me. How you doing? This is your royal ruler, Tony Prince, and hi there. I'm at United DJs Radio, and you're watching the Air Show World with Stu Bear. Come fly with me sometime right here.
United DJs.
Good evening and welcome along. It's Friday night with the bear in the chair, and of course, we've got lots to come tonight. We'll tell you all about it in just a couple of moments, but to start things off, we're going on a trip back. You can see where we are. It's down at Lakenheath, taking you back November 2018. Some beautiful video footage coming up. I'll give everybody a mention in the chat room in just a couple of minutes. Sit back, enjoy, and boy, have we got a show lined up.
One crossing complete with 6.
One copy. We can switch the power and drive you guys where you can turn.
Hey, Barry West, what can we say? Many, many thanks. Look at that. Put a donation in for some bounty bars. Bring it on. Thank you very, very much. That's so kind. Some very, very nice F-15s from California, and that was actually Lakenheath. Take us back to November 2018. Well, a very, very good evening to everybody, and thank you very, very much for joining my good self, Stu Bear. And look at all the folks in the chat room. Absolutely amazing. I tell you what, you make my day on a Friday night. There's no doubt about it. And we'll quickly go through the chat room and say hi to a few people, and especially the very kind people who put some incredible donations in. Thank thank you very, very much. Let's quickly go through the chat room before we move to the next feature, which is it's going to be Mildenhall. Some great footage from Mildenhall coming up in a moment. But first in the chat room was Oliver. Thank you for Oliver for joining us. Aviation Kid. Architect Design is actually out there as well. SHGP, that's Stephen. Thank you very much. Sorry, that's Steve. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let's keep going through the list. Oh, somebody called Show World. Hey, that's me. Put in a message in earlier, letting you know what was coming up. Hey, we got Alison Tidy. How the devil are you as well? Thank you for joining us. Chris, good evening to you as I take a gulp of breath. And Day State Sniper. And of course, we've got Julie Rotherham with that spanner in her hand. Hey, okay, don't hit me with it, whatever you do. Keep on going through this. We've got Mark Webster. Mark, thank you very, very much for that super kind donation of yours. It makes a massive difference. Do you know what? I didn't have time to do any coconut tea this evening, but I've got a coconut drink anyway. Let's keep going through. Jazzy John, thank you for joining us. And so many people. We got Maurice Moon from down there in Bristol. If you haven't put a message in the chat room yet, please do. I'll certainly do our best to give you a mention. Oh yeah, Mid-Atlantic RR and aeroplanes. How the devil are you? Hey, listen, I'll go through a few more in just a moment. We've got Andrew Austin, Andy Linfoot, DJ Wilf, TC Space C saying evening, and if I do miss anybody out, I do apologise. Also got to say hi to Clive Jones out there. Thank you very much, Clive. Good speaking to you earlier today. And also, hey, couple of birthdays going on at the moment as well. We've got Olivia. It's her birthday, so happy birthday to Olivia. And also, it's a special birthday mention going out tonight to Ethan there. So have a great birthday, all you folks. We're going to carry on with the show, and we'll tell you more about what's coming up in just a couple of minutes. But let's hit the button, and we'll get some more aircraft action. Thank you very much, Architect Design. And the main theme of tonight's show is going to be mainly Mildenhall / Lakenheath and lots of F-15s. And also we have a very special guest just a little bit later. Our special guest this evening will be Captain Chris Brady. So our very own Captain Chris will be with us at around about 20 to 8. And amongst other things, we'll be asking the question about, especially for the youngsters out there who would like to be a pilot. And, hey, how would you do it? How much does it cost? What's involved? So we'll be talking more about that just a little bit later. And also, some of you may recall that there was an emergency yesterday at East Midlands Airport, and we'll be having a chat about that. All to come this evening. Meanwhile, I'm going to get quiet and let you enjoy the sights and sounds. Barry West, we'll catch you later. He's back on the road in that truck of his over in the USA. So you drive carefully there, Barry, and thank you very much for that very kind donation. Yeah, Bounty bars, I love them. Anything with coconut will do for me. while this is quiet just in the background, I'll quickly say hi to a few more people. Special people, look at this. It's our very own good friend. That's John Robinson. Always good to see John in the chat room. Thank you for joining us. And also out there tonight, we've got Trina. Hiya, Trina, over there in Kent. And I think we've also got Craig as well from the Fighter Control Facebook group. So, Craig, nice to see you as well, and thank you very, very much. The video that you're looking at the moment, this was taken on a scorching hot day back last August time when we had this. It was the U-2.
I would estimate before the end of the runway that had probably climbed to about, wow, probably 6,000 feet. Yeah? What we're guessing? What would you say, guys? Yeah. By the end of the runway at Fairford, normally it gets to 6,000 and 10,000 feet. Just incredible. Even before it got to those vehicles just down there that were picking up the pogos, I think they called them, the guys over there. It was already high, way high in the sky. Well, that was certainly worth sticking around for.
4 ship of Fox 15 Echoes, they're low fly.
Meanwhile,
is 7, south to north.
we move along. More F-15s. This time, flying through the Mach loop.
Sepper 7-1 or 5-1 request descent at this time to enter the low fly structure.
One's entering Lake Vernouillet from the north. Traffic faded. Last seen over Snowdon, 13,000. North Wales MTA, free call. Semper 5-1 is working north of the roundabout at LFA 7.
At 6,000 feet, we will be returning through the Litchfield in 5 Mike.
Negative, I've run out of fuel for that, so low level next, please. Coming fine.
Absolutely superb. We've got more from the Mach Loop coming up, again just a little bit later on, but started off with some F-15s, and then you saw some wonderful, the sound they make, those wonderful Typhoons. And where the Typhoons based? Well, they're based at Coningsby. And tell you what we'll do, we'll have a look at some great footage from Coningsby right now. And over the next few weeks, if you actually live near Coningsby, you're certainly going to be in for a little bit of a treat, because over the next few weeks, the display pilot is going to be building up to his display sequence over the next few weeks. I'm not sure. I believe he went out today, if it wasn't too windy. But you never know. We may see a little bit of that in just a moment. This was taken just, I'd say, I think this was around about 4 years ago, around about that sort of period. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Here we go. Goodness gracious, I also forgot our very good friend, that's Phil Artiste. How dare I? Hiya Phil, good to see you. There we go, going from speaker to speaker, or from headphone to headphone. And this is from Coningsby, as you can see, and we just saw the wonderful RAF Typhoon doing his display practice, and that's what is going on over the next few weeks as he builds up to his each week. I think they start around about, was it 1,500 feet, and each week as they get more improved, they go lower and lower and down to around about 500 feet. That's what they'll be practicing over the next few weeks, and I just hope they're still doing it when we get to hey, when Boris lets us out the cage. The bear needs to go out and about and do the stuff. So hopefully from around about the 12th of April, we'll be taking Airshow World. It's going to be the Airshow World Roadshow. Going to go all over the place to all these great places. So hey, stay with Airshow World. Keep enjoying the videos. And hey, talking of going to places, we'll be going to Mildenhall, or being well, later in April. And talking of which, let's get over there right now. when I actually go to Mildenhall, this is where I stay. Right next to the runway. It's an incredible spot. And fingers crossed, we should be back there, as I said, from the 12th of April. And if you've never been close to one of these wonderful aircraft, we'll tell you what they are in a moment. Let you hear it first. And if you've ever been close to one of these, you will appreciate the sound that they make. They are so loud.
Watch the rotors.
We are.
And you will see they will come down. There we go.
And it's the V-22 Osprey. You
see, takes off like a helicopter and then turns into an aeroplane. That's great, isn't it? What an aircraft.
And quite often these aircraft fly well into the night. So flying over your tent or caravan, whatever you're in, at the end of the runway, rattling all the pots and pans. I love it. Hey, thank you very, very much. Another very kind donation into the chat room right now. That's from Bandit 99. I do apologise. Phil Artiste, thank you also very much for your really kind donation. Makes such a massive difference, I can tell you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It'll certainly go a long way to, pay for the diesel to get down there in April. And of course, we'll keep on doing the videos for you and doing the Friday night show. It suddenly goes quiet. I think this was a Turkish aircraft. It's, of course, we know what it is. It's the A400M. Wonderful aeroplane. Such a noisy beast. If this is... talking about noisy aircraft like those V-22s, I actually live underneath the... it's called the Lichfield Corridor. And boy, oh boy, you certainly know when one of these are flying over. Even at 14,000 feet, they certainly do make a lot of noise. Can't hear it at the moment. It's at the other side of the runway, just on approach. When it gets closer, I should go nice and quiet so you can hear it. But it was all part of the... they had a deployment from Italy of F-16s from Aviano. And even though this... I'm pretty sure it was Turkish. We'll know in a minute. And this was part of the support. We'll see that on the tail in a minute. But thank you, everybody. Keep on putting the messages in. If you've never put a message into the chat room before, hey, do it right now. And as long as it's respectful to all people, don't forget we have a lot of youngsters watching this as well. Talking of the youngsters, the young ones. So I'm not going to sing, honestly. No Cliff Richard on here tonight. For the youngsters, we get the question sometimes, well, quite often being asked, what does it take to be a pilot? What do you have to do? What exams do I have to take? What do I have to do at university? How much does it cost? Well, we're going to find out a little bit later. Maybe give you some of those answers. But also, we're going to be speaking to an actual pilot tonight. And he'll be giving us a bit of an insight to how he, back in his day, how he actually became a commercial airline pilot. So we'll find out about that just a little later. Let's turn this up. Yes, the young ones. By the way, I've got to thank everybody that's been popping over to Tony Prince over the last few, and so many people have joined his Facebook group as well. We'll talk more about that just a little later. Keezy, how the devil are you as well? Thank you very much, and goodness, thank you also for your very kind donation. It's all going to help so we can get the roadshow going. Remember, put a date in your diary. April the 12th, fingers crossed. That was Mildenhall. And here are those F-16s. This is at Lakenheath. A very, very early morning start. It was from a live stream I did last September. I believe it was the day they actually departed. I got there just in the nick of time at 7:30 in the morning to get these beauties departing. Laura, how the devil are you? Thank you very much for joining us, Laura. TC Space C. Jazzy's Up John, Neil Hubbard, Bandit 99. I hope I've not missed anybody out. If I've not given you a mention, I'll give myself a slap wrist and also put a mention back in the chat room. I'll certainly give you a shout out. Also, special mentions going out to Matthew. That's Matthew Davis, ex-professional jockey, horse jockey, and of course Heather as well. Now, Heather and Matthew, they ride racehorses for a living, and whereabouts they are based, you get those ospreys quite often flying literally right over the top of them, which is not ideal. You can imagine that. No, thank you. Tell you what, my wrists start to burn at the end of the show there, Kevin. Now, these shots you're looking at the moment, these were literally taken through the wire fence over at Lakenheath. So it can be done. Canforce 3! What an absolute pleasure to see you in the chat room. I always put a smile on my face when I see Canforce. Because Canforce was one of the very first guys that appeared into the chat room when I first started doing the live streams. And yesterday, some of you may recall, if you're members of the Facebook group, the Airshow World fan page, I posted some photographs of his that he took over there in Canada, of the Halifax. And he's going to send some more over the next few weeks, so thank you very much for that. We shall look forward to that, Canforce. We've seen some F-16s, and of course in front of you right now from Lakenheath, this is just a normal day. So if you want to see some after, hopefully from April onwards, mid-April, certainly pop over. They've got a great viewing enclosure over at Lakenheath.
Any radio, Eagle 401, it's a flight of 4, Fox 15 Echoes, inbound for the loop from the north. We'll be transiting the Mach loop from west to east and then up through Bala Lake.
Well, we saw the F-15s taking off. Let's see what they do. So it's back to the Mach loop. Oh yes, Lime, I'll never forget that at Eastmids Airport doing the live stream in the thunderstorm. Oh boy, oh boy. And honestly, it was scary.
In the low fly area. 401 flight, Eagle, confirm you're in the loop at this time.
Terry Torment, how the devil are you?
Okay, we're in.
There we go, I did it.
We're going to spin and hold here. Typhoon, Eagle copies. We'll let you have the loop. We're holding off to the west side of the loop, and once you clear the loop, would you let us know, and then we'll be in. That is our playmate. Their call sign is dark. We are not working with them. They should be north of the lake towards Bala, and we're holding west of the loop over the water. Hey, from dark flight is approaching Bala Lake in about a 6-mile string. Dark 2-3, flight of 3 is exiting low fly 7 to the north. Dark 2-3, flight of 3 is checking back in with you. We are in the rejoin prior to RTD, exiting low fly area 7 to the north. Copies, we're in from the coastline from west through north in the loop. Copy 6-4, copy the lost May, thanks for your help. Eagle, good day. Orbit to block 5 to 24,000 feet for 10 minutes before RTB. Motor 112 GR4 southwest of Bala by 10, elevate 7, heading northeast. Low flight traffic, low flight traffic. The rack flight is trying to get a hold of you on 252.87 with no contact. Rack 21 left to 120. Rack 2-1 is complete with general handle in the North Wales MTA. We're looking to RTB via Litchfield at this time. Swanwick, Eagle 4-1 message. Our low fly LFA 7 mission. We're in the climb now to 140, requesting Litchfield quarter for Lakenheath.
There we go, letting you hear the radio comms absolutely full out. That's why I was keeping nice and quiet. So, hey, you want to hear the sound of the aircraft. You don't want to hear me banging on all the time. But I'll just butt in every now and again and tell you what's coming up. And boy, don't go anywhere. We've got so many great features to fit in for you tonight. I'll go through a few of them in just a moment. But coming up in just a second, we're going to be going over to RAF Waddington. That will be coming up after we've seen this little clip. So stay with us, don't you dare go anywhere. Lots more still to come on this evening's Friday Night Live with the Bear in the Chair. You saw the F-15s taking off from Lakenheath. You saw what they do sometimes, actually doing their job, doing their practicing, doing their work, whatever you want to call it. For me, they could do it all the time, going through the Mach loop. And you're looking at this thinking, that's not Lakenheath. No. It's actually Mildenhall, and for several days last October, they deployed, even though it's just down the road, about 8 miles away, or 4 miles as the F-15 flies. Several F-15s they deployed to Mildenhall, and several also went over to Coningsby. But right now we're going to move the show along, and with a bit of luck, we're looking at another deployment. This time we're going back to 2019, September 2019, and we were highly honoured over at RAF Waddington. We had Eurofighter Typhoons from Germany, but also some wonderful Israeli F-15s that we're going to see in just a moment. So I popped over, did a bit of filming with this with Clive. And I'm sure Clive remembers this. It was a beautiful day. As you can see, the blue skies. Now, that's my brother, you see, Clive. And he's going to be helping me out. Over the summertime. Well, when it gets a bit warmer anyway. When we get to the airfields. And then we suddenly saw approaching this absolutely brilliant fly past. So I'll let you see and hear it. And coming up next, what we have yet a different feature coming along. It's the classic aircraft time. And also from RAF Waddington, this was when I was doing the official filming at RAF Waddington. And I got nice and low in the grass. To get these great shots of the Frecce Tricolore. Enjoy this. That's what they call the crazy flight. And now you know why. Gosh. And here we go. Their fabulous final manoeuvre. The Frecce Tricolore, filmed by my good self. You could see back on the display line. Quite a scary place, I can tell you, to film from, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Great shot. Good days.
That's me. How you doing? This is your royal ruler, Tony Prince, and hi there. I'm at United DJs Radio, and you're watching the Airshow World with Stu Bear. Come fly with me sometime right here.
United DJs.
Well, hey, listen, I gotta say thank you to everybody that has been going flying with our very own Tony Prince. And Tony is actually on, well, he's on most days, but his main show is Monday to Fridays between 3 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And he is one of the legendary DJs of all time. You know of Tony Prince, goodness gracious, Radio Luxembourg, Radio Caroline, and of course, famously now on United DJs, becoming one of the world's greatest radio stations. And I asked a favour from some of you guys just the other day, and wow, you certainly did it in style. And lots of people have now joined United DJs, and you keep saying, hey, I've come over from Stu sent me from Airshow World, so thank you very, very much for that. And keep listening to the one and only Tony Prince every day from Monday to Friday. They even have Emperor Roscoe. My. Great. See, they're the guys who made me want to be a DJ back in the day. Now, we were talking earlier about what does it take to be an actual commercial airline pilot. Well, you guys, the youngsters, listen out, because we are really highly honoured once again to welcome live on air right now our very, very good friend. With a little bit of luck, we should be able to introduce Chris Brady. Captain Chris Brady, are you with us this evening?
Hello, Stu. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Absolutely loud and proud. Absolutely perfect. Chris, thank you very, very much for joining us. So what we're going to do, as I said, we've had quite a few requests about how Captain Chris started his journey to being a commercial airline pilot. So Chris, in just a couple of moments, we're going to show some of his photographs right from the early days of being a real cheeky little devil. And there we go. Tell us about this, Chris.
Okay.
It's brilliant.
Let's see what you've got there. But that's me as a young lad in well, the first one was a Hunter, and that one's a Buccaneer nose. That was at an RAF open day down at Southport. Then when I turned 18, went to university, joined the University Air Squadron. So that's an organisation set up by the Air Force to train you to be a pilot while you're doing your degree. And that's 2 years intake there, and we're burying a Bulldog aircraft in the background.
Yes, you can able to see it.
We were on detachment there up at RAF Lucas, which is why it's Aberdeen, Dundee and St Andrews, but I was actually on Liverpool University Air Squadron at Woodvale.
For the eagle-eyed, can anybody spot Chris? Let's have a look. I'll tell you what, let's see if we can get a close-up. Aha. Come on then, Chris, where are you?
I'm the one showing my chest.
Oh no, he looked like
it must have been a hot day.
Certainly, what
that photograph that's taken in Berlin, and wow. I'm at the back left.
There we go, just there. Yes.
Can you name that aircraft behind?
Well, it's got two pro. Go on, put me out of my misery.
I think it's a Hastings. It's a very large tail dragger. The guy standing next to me actually flew them back in the day.
Wow. Look at that's a fabulous picture. Look at it. And look at the moustache as well. Look at that. Look
I
at
know,
these
yeah. So again, still in Berlin. This is the Berlin Safety Center. So it was a place where the forces of occupation were managing air traffic. And then there we are, all in formation in our bulldogs over the Lancashire coast somewhere. But the University Air Squadron, I should say, it's free to join. There we are, doing a fly past the Woodvale. So selection's fairly tough, but you can get in. The things they're looking for are a maths or a science degree at university level, but they aren't mandatory to get into the regular Air Force.
Right.
Yeah. So we're scooting along over the airfield there, beating it up.
Look at that.
Fairly close formation for our tender amount of hours.
Very much so. Goodness gracious. Wow.
I managed to get 200 flying hours in on the University Air Squadron when I was there, over the 3 years I was in, and that's one of the Hawks I got to fly.
Goodness gracious! I don't suppose you flew through the Mach loop, did you? You're going to tell us you did. Yes,
I probably did. I flew all over LFA 7, which
wow.
is Wales, and several other of the LFA areas. I mean, if you like, another time I can take you through the low level flying process if you want.
I am sure the gang in the chat room would absolutely love that. Well, and so would I tell you. All these things coming up.
But back to something more sedate. That's a chipmunk. So you don't have to wait till you're 18 to start flying with the Air Force. If you're interested and you're age 11, you can join what's the Air Cadets and fly with the Air Experience flight. Now, when I was that age, they flew chipmunks. I think these days they fly the Grob gliders, but I'm not quite sure. So you can start as early as 11, and if you do well there, they'll actually send you on a flying scholarship, so you can get as far as your private pilot's license with.
Wow!
So it can be a seamless thing all the way from 11 right the way through to flying a fast jet.
And if you wanted to go into the being a commercial airline pilot, I mean, what would be how would you go about that? Would you go into the RAF, and the most important thing is, how much is it going to cost these youngsters? Because you've got to go to university. That's going to cost you about £60,000, right? And then, what would the costs be?
Well, the cheapest and best way, and it's not often the cheapest way is the best way, but in this rare case it is to join the Air Force. That way all the flying is absolutely free. It's of the highest possible standard, and the flying's far more interesting and exciting and demanding as well, it has to be said, than flying the civilian way. So what those guys do who are capable of doing it, who are lucky enough to pass the selection, join the RAF first, do a career of however long you with the Air Force, and then when you leave the Air Force, then you can go on to the airlines after that. That's the best way if you can do it.
But of course,
that way the Queen gets to pay for your flying training rather than your mum and dad.
Yes, that's if you were selected. But if you weren't selected to be a pilot, of course, you'd have to go the expensive route, wouldn't you? And what are the current costs for that?
So if you're going to go on an approved course, which is the ones that the airlines look for, the course itself is around about £100,000. And then you need a type rating on top of that, which is probably another 20 to 30,000, depending on the type. So all in, wow, you're looking at, best part of 130k.
£130,000. Put another 60,000 on that for your university, and yeah. Where's mum and dad?
Yeah, quite. Yeah. Well, obviously that. I fly with the young first officers, and they've all done this, and I don't know how they do it with all that debt on their shoulders. Some of them do go into industry first and work and save what they can, and then remortgage their home to do it. But really, it's the sort of industry where you need to start as early as you can.
Yeah. And
so once you're in your late 20s, you're kind of getting a little bit past your sell-by date.
And
so you need to learn these skills as early as possible.
And especially for the younger pilots at the moment, I mean, it must be a terrible time for them, because they've put all of this in, and of course they've not been able to fly. But no, thank you very much for that insight. Now, before we move to the next slide, we've got to say something about this. Come on, Chris, tell us about this picture. Look at it. The guy in the background as well. Look at it. How many he's had to drink? And look at you. Tell us about it.
The guy in the background between us, he's actually the squadron boss. That's squadron leader Kevin Laurie, who's a great guy, and he used to fly Vulcans.
Wow.
He's full of war stories. The guy presented me with the trophy, which incidentally was the best all-round cadet trophy for that year. That's Air Vice Marshal Eric Macy, and he, I think, flew Phantoms back in the day.
Wonderful. Look at that. Now, look at this aircraft. Now, you're going to tell me you've actually been in one of these, aren't you? Surely
I've
not.
not only been in one of those, I've been in that exact one. X-Ray Hotel 672. I was on board that for about 2.5 hours. I wasn't at the controls. I was in what's known as the sixth seat. So they've got 5 operational stations: the captain, the co-pilot, nav radar, nav plotter, and an AEO. And then they've got a 6th seat in the middle, which is used for checking. So you're kind of on a swivel chair in the middle, and you can see everything going on. I should say, considering the aircraft's so large, the actual space that you can occupy is very small. It's the size of a small room. You can't go any further back than the flight deck. It's all fuel, and obviously, several decades ago it was all nuclear arms. But yeah, we were out from RAF Marham with 57 Squadron, and we were going up on a routine training flight, which is why I was on board. And then about 45 minutes into the flight, we got a shout over the radio from the flight controllers, asking were there any tankers in the area, because a Russian bear was heading towards UK airspace. So we took the call, turned around, started flying north. We picked up along the way 2 Phantoms who were going to make the intercept, and also VC-10 as well, who was also coming along for fueling. So it was quite a strange formation, really, for a Victor, a VC-10, and two Phantoms. And we were up at about 30,000 feet. And at that altitude, the Victor is actually the fastest of the 3 aircraft types. We actually had to slow down to keep the VC-10 and the Phantoms in tow, which was something. But the Victor's very swift, and it can easily cruise at a 0.95.
Oh my! I really, you're making everybody green. I tell you, in the chat room at the moment. What an experience!
It was a hell of a day out, I have to say. Really enjoyed it.
What have we got here?
So after I left the Air Force, I became a flying instructor, and those guys you saw in the previous photo, they were on the flying instructor course. And this was my first job, flying these old Cherokees around. These were all around about the same age as myself, so they're all circa 1965.
They're all youngsters.
Very old aircraft, but if they're well maintained, age doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I keep telling ourselves that as well.
My next instructing job was up at Carlisle. That was me in front of the 172, and then here you can see it, the old Liverpool Airport, the old North Airfield.
I see. Look at that.
I instructed there for several years, from PPL through IMC ratings, all the way up to CPL level. That was my eye in the sky years. The guy on the right, Rocket Ron, he used to do traffic reports over Merseyside and the Northwest, so I went up with him. The guy in the middle, I think, was just the producer.
Wow. Look at that.
Yep, I flew that beast as well a few times. that was just doing night mail over the Irish Sea.
I see.
Just Liverpool to Dublin and back.
There we are, at the desk.
At the desk, yeah, pretending I looked like I knew what I was doing. I was always much happier in the air.
Oh, wonderful. Hey, what else have we got? Up in the air again?
Yeah, that's an arrow. That's headed towards Bala in North Wales. A little bit of loose formation flying in Vicky there, one of the warriors, and that's a Cherokee.
Hold on a minute. Who's that?
Who's
that young lady? We know who that is, don't we? That's our very own.
That's your very own Julie.
It's our very own wonderful. And I say wonderful because the effort we've put into this week's show has just been amazing. And we've worked so hard on this. It is when we finish one Friday, we start the next Friday's show. So we'll be starting the next one tomorrow. And the work that lady and myself have been putting, and Chris as well, has been huge to bring all of this to you guys. And there she is. There's our very own Julie.
She pulls all the strings together to make it happen.
Hey, come on, British Midlands.
So when Julie showed up at Air Nova, I thought it was time to go onto the airlines, and there's me on my first airline job with British Midland.
British Midland. Where's that, in Spain somewhere?
Enjoying a glass of orange juice on the apron of Palmer, I think it was.
And there we go, in cockpit. What's that? Is that a 737?
That's a very old 737. It is a 300, but it's one of the early versions, so it's all round dial instruments, no moving map displays on that.
There we go.
There I am in the left-hand seat.
Oh, and now, this is a little bit of video. We showed this a couple of weeks ago, but we wanted to show it again because this is also a 737 British Midland going into land at Heathrow. That's right, isn't it, Chris?
It is. I can confirm that because I was there.
You were flying it. He was at the controls. Let's let this play.
The first officer was flying, and that's why I had the camera.
Wow. For anybody that goes down there, that was just went past Myrtle Avenue. We hope to be down here again in the near future, doing some live streams for you guys. Hopefully from after April the 12th. That's the date they're saying. There we go. Nice touchdown there, Chris.
Yeah.
Tell us about this
the landing was
last
smooth.
one.
What moved the camera was the activation of the reverse thrust.
Right, okay. Yeah, of course it was. Yes. And tell us.
That's where you feel for.
This was your first day, wasn't it? Is that correct?
No, I think that photo was taken on my last 737 flight with EasyJet.
I see.
Yeah, as they got rid of the fleet.
And that's who you... Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, sorry, Stu.
Yeah, and that's who you fly for now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. On the A320 family now.
Yeah. We've mentioned Morris a couple of times.
That you saw take
He's Morris. What a guy. He's from there in Bristol. And every now and again we try to get Morris on to tell us a little bit about the classic warbirds and what have you. Hopefully we'll be able to do that again very, very soon. TC Space C. Thank you for joining us. As Captain Chris's videos on the 737 MAX were really detailed. He certainly is. And please check his videos out. And especially these insights for the 737. Piotr. Why do I say Piotr? Because he's in the chat room right now. Great to see you as well. And thank you to everybody that's put some very, very kind donations in this evening. It's so much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maurice Moon. I like the warbirds. The warbirds, should I say. Me too. Love the sound of those props. Ryan Garland. How are you? The devil are you? Hi, Stu. He says, Ryan Garnett says, hi Stu, the reason why it landed, the heat pumps were too hot. Too hot to handle. Right, thank you very much for that. Because, of course, when all of this first happened, I've got to say thank you very much to Phil as well. So thank you, Phil, for sending the screenshot across. It's much, much appreciated. And alerting me to it as well. Phil Artiste, thank you as well for joining us on this Friday night special. Quick run through what's coming up. The next scheduled live stream is going to be on Monday afternoon at 1 p.m. with the DVD show. Tuesday, put your feet up with a cup of tea, cup of coconut tea as well, with some classic aircraft. That's on Tuesday. If you're wondering what this is about, I showed this a while ago. It's called the Elephant Walk, or those KC-135s. It was a great sight. Shame about the weather. Nice face. Shame about the... Sorry, I'm just going into the songs again. And keeping the big thanks going, and thank you to everybody that's been popping over to at 3 o'clock or weekdays to say hi to Tony Prince on UDJ's radio. If you haven't already listened to UDJ's radio, please do. And thank you, Tony. Thank you very, very much. He does listen. He listens to the show. James Reese. There we go. So good. We named him twice. Thank you. If you have joined us for the very first time this evening, thank you very much for your company. And don't forget, do the subscribe to Airshow World. And there's that little bell icon you notice when you do the subscribe. If you hit that, you'll get a ping or something like that. Your phone will go ding, and it's called a notification. You'll know when we're actually out and about live. Aviation Kid says, oh, I can't join on a Monday or Tuesday. Hey, but don't worry. Aviation Kid, join us on a Friday night. It's always good to see you. And I hope you enjoyed that insight today about, for anybody that was thinking about being a commercial airline pilot or maybe going into the RAF, whatever. Certainly work hard at school, get those qualifications, and why not go for it? And then, on Friday night, you can pop back and you can tell us all about it in years to come. Monday afternoons, what's it all about? We told you, I quickly said it's the DVD show, and that's an opportunity to see what DVDs we've actually done in the past. If you are interested in anything like that, like DVDs, you can have a look at the first page of Airshow World, and that will tell you all the ones we've been doing over the last few months. And if you're interested and you'd like to purchase one, just drop me an email. That email address is Stu, S-T-U, at... You ready for it? It's so easy. airshowworld.com. Stu at airshowworld.com. Going on live right now, our good friends over there on... Plain Talking UK. They're doing their bit, so please, after this show, pop over. They've got a special about, because as you know, probably remember, Tuesday was World Women's Day. Is that what they called it? And the presenters on there are all ladies. That's tonight on UK. Plain Talking UK podcast. Give it its full title. Tell you what, I'll try to put a link in the chat room before I actually go off air. Shattered Heart. I hope I'm not putting you to sleep there, Shattered Heart. Subscribed as your voice is really relaxing. Big smiley face as well. So thank you very much to that. Yeah, hope it's not too relaxing because, yeah, you know, it's not... what was that DJ? Used to be on Radio 1 and Radio 2 with the deep voice and used to say, yes, to all the truckers out there. What was his name? Bob, yeah, I can't remember. Bob's the Builder. I don't know. Whatever. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? What, you don't? Oh, okay, you're not old enough. As long as you just listen to Tony Prince and the rest of the gang on United DJs. In fact, they have a fantastic show tomorrow afternoon at one of my favourite shows, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That's with Bob Lawrence. And they play all the 70s music. And so if you do go over there, because he's got a chat room that you can talk to on Facebook. So check the Facebook group out and you can talk to the guys and get them to play your requests actually live on the air. But if you go over, say, hey, Stu, the bear from Airshow World sent us right over. And thank you to everybody that's joined him recently. Photo for you. Thank you very much for joining us. Shark Boy says, yo, I'm just making sure I've mentioned everybody tonight. Thank you, everybody. If you've been too shy to put a message in the chat room, hey, don't worry about that. You know, it's just fantastic to have your company. Some people don't see the chat room. It's just on the TV. That's why I like to shout as many of these messages out as possible. Sorry I haven't mentioned too many people this evening or read too many of your comments. But as I'm sure you'd appreciate, it's been a busy old show this evening. We're going to see this, and then we're going to get out of here. So if you see 2 green discs coming towards you, what, late one night? Don't worry, it's not the aliens. You've not been drinking too much. You've not been down the pub and had too much. It could well be a V-22 Osprey from Mildenhall. What a sight. And we always give these a quick mention. Well, guys, it's ladies this evening. I tell you what, you watch everybody pop over there now to see. James, calm down, James. I'm not sure if we can get a bit of volume on them, but this is what's going on right now.
There's some stats from the FAA.
So they're talking about women in aviation.
And so this is the numbers of men versus women actually in particular jobs in aviation. And so of all pilots, I think this is how
So you can join them. They're live right now. I'm even going to be putting a link right in the chat room now because I'm going to be leaving you in just a couple of moments. But thank you very much. And we've overrun by, normally it's a 60-minute show only, but it's been an absolute, as I'm sure you'll agree, and a full-packed show this evening. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's you guys that make the difference with Air Show World. So if you keep watching, keep enjoying the shows, I'll keep creating the shows. And the bear will stay in the chair and bring you all the good fun. And so keep on watching. Keep sharing the videos. Keep supporting Air Show World. Thank you very much to everybody that put the very, very kind donations in. It's very, very much appreciated. So thank you very much to Barry West, Mark Webster, Architect Design, Bandit 99, Phil Artiste and Keezy. Thank you very, very much. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. This is a taster of what we're going to be doing from April the 12th. Heading back, Air Show World with the road show. Back on the road. We're going to head off to Mildenhall. But for tonight, thank you very, very much. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Monday afternoon. Be there, okay? Join in all the fun. Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock. You take care. Have a great weekend. From the bear, Julie, everybody, the gang, and of course, our very special guest, Captain Chris Brady. Have yourself a great weekend. Bye-bye now.